Oh, yes, that's right. And we're live. Yeah. Welcome to another D-List.
Whoa. So, Ben.
So it's fresh in your mind, Ken. You just watched this.
Today, yeah. During work.
Perfect.
Excellent. We watched it last night.
Was it worth sitting down for?
I didn't fall asleep. So that's
Okay.
I normally fall asleep in movies. I think I was
You fall asleep during a lot of movies.
I know. I do.
That's not a fair test. That's not a...
I think it was that I was so curious as to what actually was going to happen.
That is true. I kind of didn't know where it was going.
I'll give you that. Yeah, that's fair.
I couldn't. It was so weird. I didn't know what was coming next.
Yeah. Yep.
I just had to focus on words. What they're saying.
Well, I can't do it. I can't do the voice.
I need to
You literally need marbles in your mouth. You need to put rocks in your mouth, and then you
right.
can do
It's like doing an impression of Gandalf while chewing bubble gum. Like too much bubble gum, and then someone's like, "Do your impression." That's what he sounds like for the whole movie.
Here we go. Here's a Reddit post. The only appealing thing about Seventh Son is hearing Jeff Bridges' accent when saying Seventh Son.
The Seventh Son. I wanted Ben to find a video clip of him so we could share it, just so people really knew what we're talking about. Like just a short something.
He's a spook.
He's at least consistent with the accent through the movie.
Oh, he's consistent.
How do I even find a clip of him being like
just on
the
YouTube?
Seventh Son.
Jeff Bridges in the Seventh Son.
Yeah. If our listeners have any interest in watching this movie, should they watch it?
I say watch it.
Yeah. Okay. I have no opinion.
I feel like it's funny enough.
Tuned out.
It's goofy enough that you're like, what the fuck? And
I could see that.
I find it, even if it's bad at the end, it's worth just being like, that was weird.
It does have a bad ending.
It's interesting.
That might be my least favorite part. It's just how...
Wait, there.
Can we get audio? Can we get...
That's pretty clear.
I can't hear it.
Dang, I'm not sharing it. I'll have to find some. I don't know. Maybe
we'll
just
to edit that in.
The Seventh Son of the Seventh Son.
Oh wait, Ben, you want to start us off and introduce our movie?
Yeah. Just let's get some energy here.
Tunes?
We got to get
some.
Sorry, let's roll it up. Let's pop this energy in here. Yep. We need some of this. Man, I needed this right now.
Ooh, my teeth. Watch out, I'm going to transform into a dragon.
That's right. Hello and welcome to another Date Night D-List movie review. This time we watched Seventh Son, the masterpiece from 2014, starring Jeff Bridges. Who else is in this?
A lot of very famous people.
Ben Barnes, Julianne Moore, Jeff Bridges, Kit Harington for a little bit, and there are even others, but those are the main ones.
Vikander, what's the one guy?
I didn't look up. I just looked up the top.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's in a lot of movies these days.
There's people I recognize. Yeah.
I don't want to say it wrong, so I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
So we won't mention him.
Yeah.
Guys, get this. When Mother Malkin...
Hansu? Yeah, sorry.
Something like that.
Yeah, right. It's like Jimon or Jimon?
Yeah, it's like DJIMON, I think. Something like that.
That's as far as I'm going.
Hansu, yeah.
When Mother Malkin, played by Julianne Moore, the queen of evil witches, escapes the pit she was imprisoned in by professional monster hunter Spook decades ago and kills his apprentice, he recruits young Tom, the Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, to help him.
First of all, that was one sentence. That was all one sentence going on. That's something's up there. But yeah, I would say that describes it pretty good.
Pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, let's get the important stuff out of the way up front. This movie's bad.
Well, it is on the D list.
It's not a good movie.
It is bad.
It's newer than I thought. 2014
Okay,
feels pretty.
what-
I know that's like 10 years now, but
No, but that's. I mean, Harry
That's
Potter
new.
came out before then.
I would put that in the new movie category.
Yeah.
Right?
I would have said like if someone said this is from
2004?
I was gonna say 2002. I'd be like, I see that.
Right? I mean,
Yep.
think about Reign of Fire, right? With Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey. It kind of
We
looks
should've
like
watched
this.
That
movie.
watched that.
We should watch that. That's a good movie.
There's a lot of movies that came out before this that look way better.
I'm telling you,
everything.
Let's
the
actually just watch
CGI in
Reign of
this is
Fire.
really bad. I would just
Please.
watch
Just
Reign
watch
of Fire.
it, Ben. Like,
and
we
if
don't
it turns
have
out
to
to be a
assign it.
D-list, yeah.
My God, you're
That's
like, how
fair.
do I get this movie?
Isn't
You
Christian
can literally
Bale in
just
that,
watch
too?
it.
It's Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey, Gerard Butler's in
There's
that.
a lot of people in it, yeah.
Dang.
And everybody's just ashy and sweaty the whole time.
Yeah.
Everybody's
And
bald.
muscly.
Yeah.
Ben's getting turned on.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey's got like a vest on the whole time, I think.
Like a crop vest.
And a
I can see
Dragon
that.
proof vest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But this
cool.
movie is only an hour 42. I appreciate that.
Felt long,
gonna-
though. Felt
gonna
long.
I love when bad movies are short.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Reign of Fire was the movie that made me want to get like tribal dragon tattoos on my arms. That was what
Whoa.
made me be like, I want to look. I want that look.
Going for
That's not.
post-apocalyptic dragon look.
Now I'm getting distracted.
Dragon Mancer
Yeah,
look.
please stop.
The seventh son of the
Okay.
seventh
So
son.
this movie, though, I tried to look it up to see if it was based off of a book. There is a book called The Seventh Son. It is not
Oh.
about this movie. It has nothing to do with this movie.
Okay.
Huh.
This
Just coincidence?
movie
or-
is slightly based off of The Spook's Apprentice.
What?
The Spook's Apprentice.
Sorry, I can't even say the name without laughing.
Let me look it
Which is much more like makes sense that that's what the book's name would
Yeah,
be for this
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, that makes
Like,
sense.
why are they just like, don't call him a spook, you know?
Is it
It's so dumb.
is this inspired by The Witcher, you think?
Oh, for sure. For
Somebody
sure.
just
I
went
mean, I
with,
would
or like
think.
a Van Helsing type. I mean, it's very
Something.
every part of this movie is a cliche
Yeah.
sort of pressed together
But-
to make a story.
Oh my gosh,
it's
the
like they
Spooks
took it-
books, 1 through 13, complete word story and
we could get
chronicles.
crazy.
All Spooks books.
Spooks books.
Yeah, the Spooks books, 1 through
books.
13. Oh, it's only costs $100 if you want to buy all of
deal.
them in paperback.
Do they have them on audiobook? I would love to listen.
Read by
guarantee
Jeff
they do.
Bridges in his
In that voice.
In the voice, yes.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't understand most of the book.
So
But
2014, where are we? We're young adults.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is past some major movies that look a hell of a lot better.
This feels pre modern day blockbuster. Like, okay, Christian Bale's Batman,
yeah.
Iron Man. I don't know what else has really come
This
after
is even
that, to be
after
honest.
this is after Game of Thrones started.
Really?
Yeah, so Game of Thrones, I think it said like 2010 or 2011.
Wow.
And this
See,
is
this feels
yeah.
so
This is 2014.
This is-
before all of that stuff.
But that's all, right? Like, you're talking about Christian Bale Batman. We were in college when we watched
that
that.
was
Yeah,
like
that was like-
2007.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was like
Yeah.
yeah, that was way before.
Iron Man was like 2009, right?
Something
Yeah.
like this just feels so dated.
It does. And
I
I think they
kinda-
were hoping the big movie stars would help, and it makes it
I-
worse.
They don't.
But I kind of liked.
worse.
I kind of liked it about that. I liked that it felt old. Like I don't know. It felt
okay.
like
I can get
I mean,
behind
I get
that.
that.
it
Yeah.
felt like different in a way that like it wasn't fitting that mold.
But the problem is
true.
they weren't running with that. They didn't say we want it to feel like an old classic because
Right,
they didn't fit
right.
a genre. It's not like it's sci-fi or it's fantasy or it's funny or it's serious. It's like
It's all
beep,
of
beep,
these
beep, beep,
things,
beep, beep.
yet
It's
none
like
of
someone
these
who hits
things.
the elevator buttons
Yeah.
and they just hit them all, and you're like, you got to do it.
Yeah.
It's really goofy, weird.
Okay, whose accent's worse, Jeff Bridges or Matt Damon?
Do you want to do impressions? Ben, can you?
No, I don't.
Oh, darn.
I can't because I wouldn't be able to do them. I wouldn't be able to do the listeners justice to a fair comparison.
Here,
as
I
to
can
what
do
they
Matt Damon
actually
if you want. I can do I could use the sleep.
I could use the rest.
Yeah, or whatever.
Why do you talk like that?
But Jeff
Mr.
Bridges,
War.
it's not. It's like if
You have to
did-
physically have something in your mouth to
Okay,
do
Which
the
he
impression.
did.
Ben looked.
Oh, I
this up.
believe it. I believe it. Yeah.
And so Ben found out, first of all, he made it up himself, like as if he's proud of it. Which
Yeah.
I'm like, don't tell anyone that.
He really workshopped this job.
And he wore fake teeth
That
to
makes
get
sense.
that, which
Yep.
makes sense. It sounds like if you're pushing in like
your
fake
tongue
goofy
doesn't know
teeth.
where to go, right? Because there's stuff in the way. That's how he's
And
talking.
you're like blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
the whole time.
yeah.
Are you looking it up, Ben?
Okay, this guy had an interview with him.
Oh my
It
gosh.
says, as I told him the aspect of his character, the supernatural fighting spook known as Master Gregory, tickled me as I heard it leave his mouth. It became even more prominent as the film went on, since he's the only character in this entire fantasy landscape who has a heavy accent.
That is true.
It turns out that Bridges came up with this way of speaking all on his own after going into what he describes as a meditative state to allow his
course.
characters to inhabit his body.
Oh,
From the
boy.
depths of the dude's inner soul emerged a voice that he then got approval from the director to run with. The actor did reveal that to get the exact sound we hear from him in Seventh Son, he wore fake teeth, which he mentioned you couldn't really see underneath his stache.
Yep.
Okay. First of all, like, don't tell anyone that. And the director who was like, sounds great, man, like fired immediately because
Yeah.
it doesn't sound great. I thought it was a joke
man.
at first. Like, it is so bad that at first I was like, no.
How
Are
do we
doing this?
find? I need to
rough.
find some clips. This is the.
I don't know, but
seventh
I don't
Son.
think you can share your audio.
An order of noble knight.
I'll find it.
So
I'll
we'll
find
have to-
something good.
Rotten
The Seventh
Tomatoes
Son.
isn't going to copyright strike you. I don't think. I don't know.
I wouldn't
You
think.
get a few
Yeah,
seconds.
who knows?
Yeah, bring it 5 seconds. But okay, you guys want to get started? Let's do this.
It's a show on the road.
Okay. Oh, my mic immediately is like tipping over. Okay, so we start off with some spooky music. There's a guy on a mountaintop and he's hammering in like
That's
a
right. Yeah.
jail
Okay.
shell. Think a turtle shell jail on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
Someone's down in a well type jail. He's putting salt around the edge. There's a witch screaming inside. You can see like the tattoo on his hand, and you can hear her screaming, "Gregory, release me!" And then the man rides off. And you're like, okay, so obviously someone bad is in there.
Yeah.
Then you see all the seasons, the years pass. You don't know how long. Later we find out it's like 100 years.
Yeah.
I just hated the Julianne Moore as the bad guy. The way
Well,
her
that's not-
voice sounded never
It's very
Seemed-
unconvincing.
right. It even that even in the beginning, the very first time you hear it, Gregory, release me.
It's like an
Yeah.
American
Like,
stuck
what?
in a well. You're not
Yeah.
like, oh, must be a
Didn't
witch.
sound like a witch. You know,
It sounded
it's
much
like-
closer to a person he trapped in a well. And
Yeah.
just,
right.
You know,
So
Right.
weird.
So you see the cage is getting rusty, it's brittle, whatnot. The camera zooms down into the cage, and then I don't know if it's her voice or a narrator, but they say her powers have returned from the rise of the blood moon, and then it's like hell awakens, and then her eye opens, which is like a dragon eye.
it's a 100% CGI dragon
Yeah.
eye. You don't
And then-
see Julianne Moore at
yeah,
all.
and then she bursts out, and it's opening credits. So the dragon has escaped, and you're like, oh shit,
It was weird because it looked like she was like in the mud or something at the bottom of that hole. I don't know. It was just weird.
But, well, we'll get into this later.
knows?
I feel like some metal bars shouldn't be like that
I don't
hard.
know.
Well,
for-
metal cages as a unsatisfactory monster trapping device is a recurring theme in this
Oh,
movie. They just, I guess that's all
Like-
they have.
once the metal cage is on, they're done. They're
Well, that's the idea, but it never seems to work.
Well, yeah,
That's
right.
true. It also
It's their
doesn't work.
go-to, but it doesn't work.
it doesn't do anything. Okay, so then we are in like a Renaissance town. So it's a long time ago, 1500s or something. Jon Snow, I'm just going to call him that, is looking for Gregory.
Talking about Mr. Bradley?
Sure. Is looking for Gregory, who is Jeff Bridges. And of course, this is when I wrote Jeff Bridges is acting like he's pretending to be Gandalf chewing bubblegum.
Yeah,
that's what he sounds
I forgot
like.
about this scene.
At first, he's like, why are you here?
This
and
whole
he's doing
scene
that,
is
and it's
idiotic.
like so. Okay,
fill this up.
So John, hold on. So Jon Snow comes and he takes out a sword and he's like, "You have to get up. The bells are ringing."
That's so stupid.
And hold on, and he's like, "This is when he essentially tells you what it is." He's like, "The mark on your hand says you are a knight," and it's okay, we get it, buddy.
Here. Yeah,
And then some guy is like, "Oh, if you say you're a knight,
I'll
get
take
up."
care of it. Yeah.
And he's like, starts a fight with him, and of course, Jon Snow is like, "You don't want to do that, buddy." So it's a classic. You think that he's gonna beat up the old man, but really Gregory the drunk is like classic drunk, best fighter in the land. He gets up, beats the shit out of the
Drunken
young guy.
master. A lot of Jeff Bridges spins here. Just a lot of him spinning to get out of the way.
And whenever he punches, there's like a faint lion growl in the background.
Is
it's
there?
like roar and stuff like that. So you're like, okay, I guess.
Man, he's just showing, he's showing this guy up. Like he's clearly a master. Right?
Ben, you can show picture number 2.
This guy is a high-level character.
This is Gregory, Master Gregory.
We
Sorry.
We have been granted permission to refer to people in terms of level because
That's true.
Comes up directly later in the in the movie. So we are allowed to say this gentleman is a high-level. I don't know, fighter.
Late game. I don't know.
Right. He's got his hideout with all his magic items. Like clearly, he's been playing for a while.
But they don't play it up as like a goofy thing.
It's not like a tongue-in-cheek approach at all. Yeah.
But if you imagine this whole movie as somebody telling their D&D campaign, you're like,
oh, it's quite a bit more interesting than I would imagine. Yeah.
There were actually so many lines where I'm like, I can see the D&D master being like, and then, that's what it's like if someone made it into a movie.
But this opening scene is so dumb off the bat because he's getting drunk at the bar. He doesn't go to the bells, which is literally his life's purpose.
The one time he has to work
and so
is like someone does a bell.
Some guy tries to fight him into doing his job. He whoops that guy's butt. And then he immediately goes and does the job anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why we
he doesn't even sit back down. He punches the guy out and then leaves to go do what the guy wanted him to do anyway.
Right?
It doesn't.
So what the heck?
I don't know.
It's
That's
so
like him
dumb.
being funny.
It's so dumb.
He does he garble mouths. It's not impressive that I fought him while drunk. It's that I did it without spilling. And there's like a round of applause.
But then he dumps it out. He doesn't drink it. He dumps it out. What?
But also,
so weird.
Ken said that so clear during the movie. I was like, should we put subtitles on? I could not understand.
I left him off. I was like, no, this is how it's meant to be experienced.
The artist wants me to experience it this way.
Right. This is the way it's intended for me to just be absolutely confused.
I was so confused for half of it. So him and Jon Snow, we're just going to call him Jon Snow, are pulling a wagon through the rain. They're going to help someone. They open up. I do like their wagon is like a big toolbox.
Yeah,
so think of like a wagon, you pop open all the things they're getting out, everything they're going to need. They're like, we're going to need this. We're going to need that.
It's literally like, how are you carrying all that equipment on your person? And they're like, well, I have this giant.
I have the wagon.
Didn't I tell you about the giant wagon I bought?
A while to get here, but.
It's a huge wagon. It's nothing but
instead
weapons.
of fire hoses, there's weapons in it. Yeah. That's what. Yep. So inside a church, some girl's possessed. She's screaming. She's chained up. The voice that's coming out of her is the witch lady from the beginning. So he's like, oh shit.
Uh-oh.
He hangs a necklace around her that has some special, I don't know, salt in it or whatever.
Silver bane or something. Yeah.
The girl drops down, a smoke monster comes out of her,
Yeah.
And the girl's herself again. And the mom is like, oh, thanks, God bless. And runs out like, oh, you saved my daughter. There is a smoke monster running around the
I'm out of there.
church.
I'm gone.
Not
my problem.
Yeah, that's how they
I'm
are.
with her. She
Okay,
did the right
bye.
thing.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, thanks, I'll
See
pay you
ya.
later.
Yeah.
So the monster appears in the church. It turns into Julianne Moore in a feather costume, which is picture number 3, Ben. This is when I said, I think they're all just playing dress up. They look like they found some costumes and they're having a Halloween party. This is like the goofiest shit. Like,
Look at that.
come on.
It doesn't look that awful there, but in the movie, it just is
it's
bizarre.
bad.
It's like
It's
like
a lot
the
of
way she
extensions.
is
I didn't
acting
realize.
this character, her voice or something. I was like, I'm not.
Everybody
It's
in this movie is
not
super
coming-
forgettable, though, except for
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges. Every other
Because
person
he's like
is like,
so
That's
weird.
true.
Yeah.
so maybe he was onto something with the accent.
So right away, though, she is trying to, he made it work. She's trying to like trick them. And so they cut down the church bell to drop on her. She dodges it. Jon Snow grabs chains and kind of like hooks her up as she like turns into a dragon. So this is when Gregory is like, hang on to it. Jon Snow gets ripped through a door.
Oh my god,
He
he
gets-
hits the door.
He hits the door
so
so hard. And then he gets thrown onto like a sidewalk. And then he goes upstairs with his head hitting every
I
stair.
would not be surprised to hear that the stuntman died when they shot that
Right.
doorway
Like-
scene.
His head clearly hits the
It
top of
hits
the door
the
frame, and then
He's holding a rope.
he's still holding
He's
on,
still holding
but
it.
he's out cold. He looks like in an MMA fight when somebody gets like clocked
But
and
then
they
he-
just like
and then he's
crumple.
going up the
He's
stairs.
he's
and his
limp.
head's
He's like
hitting.
ragdolling and being dragged. It's like
So
whoa.
Then he's dragged down the road, and finally Gregory's like, "Let's work together." And he grabs the rope, and it's like, "Now you're gonna fucking help me."
yeah.
She turns back into a woman because I don't know if she
Why
can't
not?
fly.
I
I don't
guess.
know. They go to trap
Oh,
her
it was
in a
the
metal
silver
cage.
net. That's why.
Oh, is that why? Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
I was
that was
like,
supposed to.
I don't know.
It's a big, heavy silver net. Yeah.
They trap her in a cage, but right before it closes, which also, why is there? I guess there's just cages
Just
around in case there's
roadside
witches.
cage. Yeah.
I don't know. She grabs Jon Snow last minute, brings him in there, and she essentially just like kills him, turns him into darkness. Gregory's pissed. He burns her, and he's like, well, that sucks that I lost my apprentice, but at least I killed her. Well, then she just bursts into a dragon
Doesn't
and
he
flies away.
Doesn't he have some sort? Oh, he says, okay, this is up until this point, it's a pretty serious movie.
Oh, yeah.
Sort
Then
of.
he says, yeah, I know what you're going to say.
So his assistant dies brutally.
like
and he-
horrible.
And he's like
horrible.
walking away from a burning witch in a cage, like cool guys don't look at explosions. And he,
Yeah.
10 years wasted. And it was
Yeah.
like, you knew that dude for 10 years.
10
You're
years.
not gonna,
You hung out with this guy. And he's like, darn.
yeah.
And that's it.
Shit.
Well, that's when I said, is that it with Jon Snow? And
That's
Ben
it.
just said, cooked.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that was it.
That's
Let's
it.
not
But
come back.
also, he probably had to get back to fucking Game of Thrones. He was like,
Yeah,
I'll give
he had
you
a real,
one
I
day.
I wonder how much they paid him for one day of.
Right. I'll give you one day.
Seriously,
And then
I
I
bet
got
he
to
made
get
a
back to
boatload of
work.
money.
To be Mr.
Yeah.
I hope he
Bradley.
did. Yeah, I hope he did.
Right. They were like, do you mind if we hit your skull on the door
He was
frame?
probably just on the studio parking lot that day. And
They
they're
were like, hey.
we have surplus budget.
Excuse me, Mr. Bradley.
Yeah.
So then we cut to Thomas, a.k.a. Ben Barnes. Or Ben Barnes, a.k.a. Thomas.
I don't like this guy. I don't like this actor. Is he
This
in
picture
anything?
number 4, Ben.
Am I just thinking of him from the what is that TV show?
Shadow and Bone.
Shadow and Bone. Is that the only thing I've seen? I must have seen him in something
I've
else.
seen him in
He's
something
in
else.
Narnia.
Whoops. There we go.
Yeah.
There he is.
Really?
It's like, why am I? He's the like prince that comes in like the
Prince
second or
Caspian?
third one.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever even seen that Narnia though.
That's like the only other one I've seen. Aren't there like 4?
Now I
Three or
gotta
There's
look
four?
this
only
up.
3 or
Ben
4,
Barnes.
yeah.
What's he in?
he's Prince Caspian.
Really?
Shadow and Bone.
Wow.
I saw him in that. Seventh Son.
He's
I guess I can't fault him in this because they don't give for him being the main character. He does not have a lot to work with
Well,
here.
he's also kind of dumb when it comes to like, I
Yeah.
like you. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So we cut to Thomas, though. You see that he lives in the woods with his family. He's caring for animals with his sister. He's feeding the pigs. And then all of a sudden his sister's like, Tom, you're shaking. And Tom like has visions, which you're like, okay, I guess he has visions. Once again, they never really like explain or go. He just has them.
I don't know. Yeah.
I guess that's
he's
his
just
thing.
got him. No,
No, what?
that's it. He's just got visions.
No,
I thought
they
you were talking
explain
about
it
something
later,
else.
but it's not for a very long time.
But it's not like,
and it's
I
not
don't know.
anything. It's not a surprise
no,
by any
like,
means.
so then we cut to Gregory's paddling alone in a rowboat, coming to Tom's house. The mom sees him, quickly hides a necklace. And that's when he's like, I'm here for the seventh son of the seventh son, or whatever the hell he says.
The
The Sovereign Son, he just rolls up. He's a
You
super
almost have
huge.
to have like water in the bottom of your mouth.
He's like such a jerk when he rolls up.
Oh,
too.
he's
He
a
does.
dick in
He's
a
like-
lot of this movie.
I know there's a seventh son of a seventh son here. You cannot tell me that there's not. And
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Right. Well, I wrote, it looks like he's playing a goofy SNL character. Like, if there was a laugh track, you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't, it's so weird.
Weird.
So Thomas Ward
But he
is the
grows on
seventh
you.
son. But I like
He
him.
grows on you.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, and then I also wrote, here, wait, can you bring that picture of Thomas up again? Everyone in this movie is fuzzy. Like, was that a thing they did on purpose? It is like,
I don't know.
if
I
the
couldn't tell.
background was a Bob Ross painting, and then everyone had like a fuzzy,
It's all smushy.
smushy, like,
Maybe I
I don't know
didn't
what's
notice.
happening.
It's DLSS.
It's
I
like a
could tell.
dream
Yeah.
sequence. It is so weird. But anyway, he's the seventh son. He's got to go with them.
Except the spook never looks like that.
The spook is
spook
clear,
is
which I
always
was
clear.
like, did they mean to do that?
I don't think so.
But I don't think they did either. Okay, so he's like, okay, I got to go with the spook. The mom takes him aside and she's like, remember, all you ever need is inside you. Just don't be afraid to look. Which once again, I'm like,
What?
does that mean
Just
anything?
Don't be a spook.
I don't think it does mean anything.
I don't think it means anything. And then she gives him the pendant necklace she was wearing. And she's like, always wear it no matter what. Which once again, just explain why. Like, why is everything just be like, hey,
Everything's
guess
so
what?
cliche. in
Witches,
this movie.
witches can't hurt
Right?
you if you have this on. But instead, she's
Yeah.
like, just promise me. And you're like,
That-
Like,
okay,
I
I
know
guess.
you have to go hunt witches now. This protects you from witches.
Yeah,
Wear it all
just
the time.
say it.
Right? That's what it like none of this. Every step of the way, we'll get into it over and over again. None of it works as a movie, as a
No.
2-hour experience.
No.
But
No.
if you laid this out over 6 months on a
D&D?
video game or a D&D
I was going to say
table,
video
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
you know, you'd be like, oh yeah, of
Okay.
course I'm half witch.
Yeah,
I've
go-
been
Yeah.
the whole, and I have the. Well, we'll get into it, but I have the stone that is like the MacGuffin of the whole story.
Yeah.
Like, I just have had it the whole time, of course.
Right? It would make so much more sense.
Oh
but-
my gosh, you mean this necklace I've had since the beginning of the game
No,
is like the
yeah.
big thing? That's awesome. But in a movie, you're like, that's so lame, man.
It is.
But
Yep.
also her saying look inside you, like that doesn't come up.
It's
so
not
I
a
don't
thing.
know
Yeah.
what that is.
No, because
Is
when
it
he
like his
finally looks
memories?
inside, he's like, can light shit on fire.
But
What?
this-
Did
He
I
gets
miss
the
that part?
flamethrower staff.
Yeah, but that's just like the staff, isn't it?
I never saw the spook light the staff on fire.
I don't. But once again, I don't know. This is crazy talk. Okay.
I don't know.
So as they're rowing away, the mom yells, "Keep them safe." And Gregory
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
rowboat, without turning around, goes, "Alas, good lady, that is a vow I cannot make." And I
He
want
says
to be
that
like,
to the face of the guy he just took. right?
once again,
That he just bought.
that is
Yeah, he
what
bought a boy. I forgot to say that.
I
yeah.
paid good
He
money
did
for
pay
you.
good
He
money.
says that.
Yeah.
that's true. But that's what the
Alas,
dungeon
good
master
lady.
would say to the table, right?
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
here is the final words for tonight. And he would like,
The spook turns towards you and says under his breath so she cannot hear, "Alas, good lady, but that is a promise I cannot keep."
that's the thing. It's like if you had a Scottish accent
And
with
you're
like, fake
"Oh,
teeth and bubble
shit.
gum.
This guy's serious, man. Damn. He's not kidding around.
He was dumb.
But then you see him in a fight and you're like, wow, this guy's badass. Look at all his cool powers.
Is he though?
Stand in the corner.
Is he? I don't know.
He always, well, I say this later. He seems really confident, like he's going to be like, do something. And then when the fight starts, he's losing most of the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Okay, we zoom in on an ancient ruin, aka apparently it's the witch house. The witch that comes out of the ruin looks like garbage. She says the spook has burned her face and forced them into hiding. And Malkin, that's her name, right? Malkin?
Yeah, Mother Malkin.
Okay, she like fixes her face and touches her. It's her sister, all this crap. Yeah. They go in the house. It's full of like legit spooky, like dusty ghosts floating around.
Yeah.
I thought those were other witches. Apparently, they're just ghosts.
Floating
around.
And gas.
Ghouls.
Right?
Gas
Level
and
6.
ghouls.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Level 6 gas.
That's true. That does
Level
come
6.
So she uses her powers. They're in a nice mansion again.
What?
They're good to go. Hold on, we're not there yet.
It was so dumb when he said that.
Why does he
Once
say
again,
that, though?
I thought it was. I don't know. Like why?
Maybe it's supposed to be funny. I don't know. It's
Okay.
not funny though.
What
No,
is
it's
it,
not.
What is it supposed to mean?
So then the spook and Thomas are in town. He gives Thomas money to go pick up shit so he can go drink. Thomas sees some guys with a woman yelling how she's a witch. They're going to go like burn her. And he has like a memory or vision or whatever of her. So he's like, oh, I'll deal with her. She's dangerous. So they give the girl to him. He takes her down like an alley and immediately they're like flirting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
You were just about to be murdered.
I didn't like
and
that.
she's like, what are you going to do with me?
and yeah, it's not
What?
it's
I
not
literally
even-
just bought you from being What are you talking about?
Your impression was great though. It was like from a different movie. Right? It's like
It was so
they have
weird.
some oh my, what are you gonna do to me? Oh my God. And he sort of like he's
Well,
very
that-
tough. Oh,
but-
I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna do to you. And it's like, what the
Yes, this is you. First of all, he just got bought by a spook and he just took him somewhere. She's about to be killed.
first attractive woman
And
he
the
sees.
first thing they do is they're like, hey. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
It was so
It's
the
very
dialogue is it's like they bought it from a different script or something, or
It's so weird. So he uncuts her like ties, but they're still hanging off of her. And she's like, cool, thanks. She starts to walk out, which I'm like, everyone in town was just yelling to burn you. Don't you
chasing
think
down
they'll
the
see
street.
you and be like, hey, you got away? Like
Yeah.
it's been literally 10 seconds. But I don't know. She talks for about 5 more seconds, tells him to close his eyes, and then she disappears. So,
Man,
okay.
one of her many tricks. Her wiles.
That's her only trick.
yeah,
is
it's disappearing and reappearing. Actually, yeah.
So
Yeah.
then we head back to that ancient ruin on the mountaintop or whatever, and that girl who we just saved from being burnt is a witch.
She's a witch. She's a
I
spy.
guess
She's
she
a
is.
witch. We saw it
Big
coming.
goof
Yeah,
on his
so-
first test.
Yeah.
Yeah. So her
let the
aunt
witch
is
go.
Mother Malkin. Her mom is the sister.
Auntie Malkin.
Yeah. And she essentially is told to just follow Gregory and like spy on them. So yeah, she shouldn't have
Malkin.
been trusted.
Doesn't
Malkin.
she have some sort of? Oh, she claims she's like a fortune teller or something. And
kind of
So who's the fortune teller?
the young girl.
the
Young.
What is her name in the movie? It's Alicia
it's
Vikander.
Alice.
Alice? I
Yeah.
would never have guessed that.
Yeah.
It was
And her
witch.
mom also looked like she's I mean, I'm sorry, maybe she's a great actress in this.
Not in this movie.
Oh no, not at all.
Her mom looks like if you gave me
Stiff
lines last
as a
minute and I
board.
was like,
Well,
what are we going to do today when we
in
go
her
to the
defense,
ruins?
she's literally surrounded by like grade A actors.
That is true. She
right?
probably panicked and like
It's obvious that
she's
she did.
between Jeff Bridges, Julianne Moore, Alicia Vikander, and like the
Yeah.
Hanzu guy, and it's like I got $150 for this role. I'm gonna do my best.
We should listen
so
to Mother
bad,
Malkin.
Yeah,
Right.
that is what it's. Oof.
Yeah.
All right, so then we cut back to Gregory and Thomas are walking through the woods. And once again, those dusty ghosts and ghouls and stuff are just like floating around.
Well, I didn't hate this because
No, I mean, that's
Granddad,
fine.
and Granddad explains that we don't hunt monsters. We care for like beasts sort of thing. It's like some of them are very dangerous and some of them are not a big deal at all. Right?
Yeah, so this is when the ghost pops up in front of Thomas's face. And then Gregory goes, just aghast. Level 6 creature. It's nothing. And all of a sudden you're like, levels?
Again,
are we in a game?
What movie is that line of dialogue from?
What? And he just keeps then that's it. You never
That's it.
hear.
You'll never hear another reference to levels again.
A level 6 creature. What?
Yeah, that is how he talks. So, like, if someone was like, finish chewing.
Can
before
somebody
you
please
talk.
explain to me the
Swallow.
difference between a ghost, ghast, and ghoul? Is it just their level?
Well, a ghost is a
Maybe.
full spirit, right?
A full
He says
spirit.
later.
A ghast
Ghast is
has.
a
He does
partial or
explain it
something?
for a second, doesn't
I
he?
think
Yeah.
ghosts haven't left at all. Like they're
Right.
still here, and ghasts are like figments of spirits.
Is that why
what
they're
was
just like
once there.
floating around
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
goofy? Okay.
Yeah.
I like
now we
how it's
know.
like in his face, and you think it's gonna like fade away, and it just keeps like
just
getting
up in his shit.
It's just
Yeah,
getting
it's just
closer and
like-
closer.
It's like
You're
doing
like-
the tough guy routine on him.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is like gonna like show that it's harmless, and it didn't. It just like kept getting in closer because he's like,
on,
he had to keep backing up.
know, like-
But once again, couldn't this could have been like a funny but adventure funny
It could have been
movie.
Pretty
It could have been
entertaining
good
to play
and
that a different way.
entertaining.
Yeah.
But they like kept going serious where you're like, should I laugh at
Okay.
that? Am I
It's
not?
like-
I don't.
It feels like there was two directors on set, and somebody kept being like, and then somebody else was like, no, this is serious.
Right? Or someone didn't get the jokes or like level 6 creature and someone else was like, I don't know what that
I
means.
don't
So
know.
they just
He
went
just
with
Maybe
wants
it.
they
it in
have,
there, yeah.
maybe levels are how hard they are to fight. I don't know.
I don't. Oh my
And
gosh.
somebody else is like,
Yeah, like secretly it worked. I don't know.
ghost,
So-
gas, and ghouls.
Gregory tells Thomas they're going to hunt down Malkin to kill her. And so they only have like a week to essentially
Till the
find her
next
and all
blood
this shit.
moon,
Yeah.
right? And she goes ape shit again or something.
Yeah,
He
so
had 10
Malkin,
years to train Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Went
1 week for Ben
sad,
Barnes.
real bad, sad. But Thomas passes out because he has a vision, and then when he wakes up, they're like on a boat, and he's like, "What happened, kid?" And once again, it's like, Jesus Christ, Jeff Bridges. Like, I don't know. He's just all over the place.
He wanted to buy a new house, so he did this
Right?
movie, basically.
So this is where we get introduced to
Tusk.
Tusk.
I like Tusk.
And I
the best
love
character in this movie.
So it's picture number 5, Ben.
I love how the spook, Jeff Bridges, is continuously insulting Tusk.
Oh, he's so
As
mean to
reliable
Tusk.
as you are ugly. Like,
And there is one time too when people come and he goes, "Get out of here!" Like to
Yeah,
Tusk.
scram.
time to make yourself
Tusk,
like
go away. But then he'll be like, "Tusk, come on, get going
Look
here."
at this, of all the pictures of Tusk.
That's all I could find,
It's a bad
sadly.
picture of him.
I can barely see him.
So Tusk is rowing the boat. He's like a kind of an ogre-ish big
Yeah,
guy.
troll type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything, kind of grunts and shit.
Like once over and over again, this is just telling me that this is somebody's
D&D.
NPC. The spook is somebody's who it used to be their player character who got to really high level, and now they're just like pretending that they're in their
in
game.
the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tusk was a guy he met before, right?
Kind of hangs out with them. So they finally get back to the cart and horse and the warehouse full of like weapons and crap and shit. This is when I said I can't understand Gregory. Please turn on the subtitles. I could not figure out what
I
he was
said
saying
no.
half the time. So
This is art.
They're picking out weapons for their journey and stuff. Thomas sees a giant tapestry. And I don't know, he says some quote about that. But like there were 1,000, I said spook nights, 1,000 nights
Well, yeah, what are they called? Like Falcon Knights or something?
Something like
Oh,
that.
I think you're right. I think they
it
were
is that.
Falcon
And
Knights.
Gregory's the only one left. So
Yeah.
the rest turned to darkness, he says, and died. The blood moon's going to be in 1 week,
There
so
was
they got to hurry it
1,000
up.
of them. He's the only
Yeah.
one left.
And the last time the
Sad.
blood moon happened, there was a war. Everyone's like finally recovering from it. So it's like, shape up. We got to get going here. Oh, wait, cut to Thomas is asleep with the giant book on him. I guess he was studying or some shit.
He only had one instruction. Don't leave your room.
Oh, this part was
Yeah.
so dumb. Let's get through
This
this.
was
This
dumb.
is so dumb.
So he hears weird noises. Kind of sounds like Gregory yelling. So he goes out of his room. He's looking around. He opens the door. There's a night suit standing there, but in it is a skeleton. So he's like, okay, that was weird. He walks out. When he closes the door, the skeleton kicks through the door because it's alive all of a sudden. It's attacking him. They are like running around the forge. They are climbing chains. They are jumping around town. He's about to kill Thomas when Gregory finally saves him and like murders the skeleton. I don't know if
guess.
he's alive, which I'm like, how
They're
long have you
in
kept
Gregory's
that guy around?
house.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
He like had this up like it was on display, and now he
And then he's like
destroyed it.
smashing it in the
For a
middle of the
second,
floor.
I thought Gregory was going to show up and be like, "Oh, Kevin, stop! This is my new." I'm not kidding. I was like, "Oh, it's like it's his buddy. It's another
right.
one
And
of
he's like,
these
it's okay. It's okay.
monsters that are okay."
It's in his house.
It was
That's what
on
I'm
display.
saying.
Yeah.
It lives there, as
Right.
far as I understand.
Yeah.
Nope. So that's when he says you failed the first test, which is like, dude, someone was screaming from the other room. What'd you want me to do? Ignore
So
it?
is this like a defense that he has in his house, and he like
I
turned it
always
on to
place a
test?
skeleton in a night.
This was like a trick to be like, all right, I'm gonna.
Was the
guess.
skeleton specifically the test, or was the test just that he wasn't supposed to stay in the room, or that like he
I don't
didn't
know. I
don't
kill
know.
the skeleton, or
He
why
doesn't
does
say.
Jeff Bridges have this
thing in his
animated
mouth.
demon? Yeah,
I
in
mean,
his
when
house.
you get to that high a level, you've been through a lot of
Stop.
adventures, and you have a lot of treasure
You're
and
making
various.
excuses for him.
Yeah, you're making it sound better than it is,
It's
because it's
not.
not about levels in this movie
No.
or anything. It's just
It's just a mess.
This I said
So-
up front. This is a bad movie, but if it
But
was
you like
your
it.
if it was your game, it might be kind of fun.
Ben, you should run your next campaign with this little baby.
I'm gonna
yeah.
Please
Yeah.
do.
Have Gregory
just
enter.
wait till they meet the spook.
And you
Yeah.
meet a spook. But you have to always talk like him then.
You have to
to
put
talk like Gregory. You have to
3 marbles on one side and 2 on the other, and juggle them around in there.
So then test number 2 is like if you can master the staff. So if you can master any weapon or this weapon, you can master any weapon. And he starts attacking him. Of course, it's that classic, like hit him down and he's like, get up again, like that kind of shit.
yep.
And you're like, yeah, we get it. So finally, Thomas like throws a sword when he's pissed and almost hits Gregory in the head. And then Gregory's like, ooh, let's get to work. That crap. So it's a
so
montage.
Cliche. It's so cliche.
He's
It's
like,
exactly what you
"Oh,
expect."
Nice aim. He was like, I was aiming for your head.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay.
Like I could write this shit in my sleep.
Yeah. There's nothing in this that you or I couldn't sit down.
yeah,
And
no.
turn
just
out in
right.
2 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With
Yeah.
minor revisions while we film it.
It's like,
So-
it's just so like back of the napkin.
It's exactly what you think.
It
Just
is.
bad.
Yeah,
It
it's
is. Yeah.
low hanging fruit. Well, what would a cool guy say? Let's get to work.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's
you
what
know,
it
Rowan,
is.
your best friend of 10 years just burned alive after you set him on fire with a demon in a cage. What does he say to look cool? 10 years wasted.
10 years wasted.
He set him on fire in that
Yeah, I'm like,
cage.
you.
Mr. Bradley doesn't even have a first name. If you look in the casting, it's
Just
Mr.
Oh, he doesn't.
Bradley.
Oh, I thought it was William.
Maybe he calls him that
It's
once.
just
or
Mr.
something.
Bradley.
Because I
Oh.
had subtitles on the whole time.
Oh, so maybe he does. So this one we're learning, it's the montage, learning how to throw knives, what salt does for
Yeah,
creatures,
yeah.
all the, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, I've had visions of Malkin. And he's like, you leave her to me. And he walks away, which is like, Gregory, you suck at killing her.
Yeah.
You didn't do it the last time. Like every time you seem to have issues. So maybe no.
Don't forget the classic, like, oh, and that flask is for
Oh, that's
for
not yet.
drinking.
That's not yet. Don't worry.
You know, like
Yeah, we're
those
not
kinds
there
of
yet.
jokes.
But he
counts.
does
We're not
hand
there
him
yet. He does say
doesn't he
that,
have
though.
him? He hands him like a ball sack. Like I think he literally hands him a.
Does
Like,
he? I don't remember.
Here's silver for wolves and bones tooth for bone
Or
eaters.
whatever.
And
Yeah.
here's a ox's ball sack. Do what you want with that. He says, I think.
There are
But then
a
he
lot
pulls the
of jokes
flask
like
off and he's
that.
like, "What's that?" He's like, "Oh, it smells awful." And he's like, "That's for
That's for me, for drinking or whatever.
or for
But he
like
doesn't do the other
your
drinking one yet.
Constitution or something like that."
God.
He does not say Constitution. Stop trying to make this a D&D movie.
I'm not. I just
Ben is like giving him new lines.
Yeah. Ben really liked
Ben
this, I
likes
think.
him.
But he watched a different movie than us. I don't know.
So we cut to the
always
evil
taking
queen.
notes.
The evil Queen Zomalkin. So this is when one of the other creatures, witches, whatever they are, comes and he's like gifting her. Okay, the army
was
of
so
100
dumb.
assassins, and they are the best in the world, guys. The best in the
The
world.
best assassins.
Later, they are like worse than if you sent me out. Okay, they
Yeah.
are shitty. So she checks him over. Like she kills one of them because she's like pissed that they were looking at her. What I mean, it doesn't matter.
It's,
The whole
again,
point is like
so
it's her being
cliche.
stupid, and she's like, "Keep him. I don't want him." And it's like, okay, well,
Oh, I
just
don't know if
what?
it matters or not, to be honest, if you have these
Yeah.
assassins.
yeah. Well, it doesn't because everything got taken at the end in like 2 seconds. Oh, Ben, this picture number 6.
Ooh, okay.
Is this the part where it explains there's like 6 or 7 super witches?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of
So
explains
like
that when
each
they're
one of
going
them-
or the
over
generals.
monsters. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so there's like the top, 6 or 7, and then, all their special shit. This is when Alice is obviously like, I don't think Mother Malkin's like a good thing.
Yeah.
And her mom's like, just keep an eye on the spook, okay?
Yeah.
So Thomas and Gregory are in the woods again. Gregory is sleeping standing up in like a hut, which is like, I don't
That's
know what
never.
the fuck that was about.
It's shown for just a few frames.
Like, if I was
and you
asleep
never.
in
I
a-
really wanted to see it again. I wanted them to show. You do show. It does show the standing sleeper, the standing coffin. It shows
sleeper.
it later after
like
he's
it's
not
a
in it.
product.
But I swear he was like.
No, he was.
He
The
was.
My
He
Pillow
was asleep.
standing sleeper.
Yeah, he was like it was like right above the
Like
fire
if
too.
you made a tiny tent above your head and you were like sleeping in it standing up.
Man, it's
I
just
must have tuned out. I did not.
It was
I do
like
not
a-
remember this.
it was
if
a
you
2
like
second.
if you had
If
it
you
off to the
turned-
side. Yeah, if you
yeah,
had this
I
off
would
to,
have
and you
missed
weren't
it.
Yeah.
eyes weren't like glued to it, you miss it. It's a few frames of him. He's standing up,
So,
sleeping
yeah.
in this like
Tent.
half a teepee coffin like thing.
And Thomas and Tusk are just sleeping on the ground next to the fire.
They're sleeping
and
on
he's
bare
just,
earth.
He's like standing up next to him. It's weird.
Like that's the thing. Like I don't get like this
Like,
again.
what are they
This is a
doing?
bad movie. But like over and over again, somebody decided
Right.
that he sleeps
Right. That doesn't happen by accident.
standing
right?
Yeah.
up in the half teepee coffin over the fire.
Somebody had a thought that meant something,
Yeah.
but in the
And-
movie, it does not.
And
It's
can you imagine,
irrelevant.
like, building all that and doing all that, and then being like, we got the shot. It's like a
Yeah.
I
still
just-
image for 1 second.
I feel like whoever was world building and doing like cinematography was also not talking to the director in any way.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Somebody was like being like, you know, like
I
again,
will say
like,
this.
It's true.
The director is a famous Russian director. I looked it
Oh,
up.
okay.
And as far as I can tell, this is the only American movie he's ever made. So
Wow.
it might literally just be like a translation issue.
That's
or like,
true.
maybe.
you know, he wasn't
That
able to
makes sense.
convey what he wanted, or I don't know.
Yeah, right? He's like trying to explain that he sleeps in a tent, and they're like, do you mean like this?
Yeah,
And
like
they're
the whole he was actually the spook is a vampire. And it just never got conveyed in the movie at all, right?
He's like, no, they sleep in, like
yeah, vampire. You know, he's shouting.
right.
And they're like, okay, we'll make him sleep
I don't know,
like
we'll
that.
make a
I don't
tiny
All right.
tent.
All right. Hey, Jeff, go stand over there.
do this.
So weird.
Like
Right.
this?
Right.
So Thomas hears something in the water, and when he walks over to like the river next to him, first of all, it's like
I bet
midnight.
it's a witch.
Yeah.
Alice is just like in the water, and okay, first of all, you haven't seen her in, I don't know, like a week or whatever.
She's
Yeah.
a spy, though.
But here's the thing: you wake up to someone in the water next to you, and he goes, "What are you doing?" Not like "What the fuck" or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And-
know she's a witch, but he wasn't supposed to know she's a witch. So
And she just goes, "Just swimming in the moonlight."
It's
What's
back
she
to the
doing there?
flag.
It's
That is a
back to
red
the
flag.
flirty. Yeah, I'm like, okay, well, she's got like tails under there or something, right?
Someone's
Like,
about to come up and
do
kill
not
me.
go into that water.
So she tells him to turn around, and when she gets out of the water, she is fully dry and dressed. And he's just like, "Hey, you."
I thought this was an editing glitch because
like-
he doesn't react to it at all.
No, not at all. She was naked
Yeah.
a second ago in the water. She is now dry and dressed. And he's just like, "What are you doing out here?
Yeah.
What the?" So, but she straight up is like, they touch and there's a blue spark. And she's like, "Oh, it's said when a witch touches, I don't know, some guy in
She
moonlight."
gives some like
Like
thing
a
that
whole thing that she's like, they're meant to
Yeah.
be together forever. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking
didn't
about?
she have to look that up and come back and tell him about that later?
Later, she's like, "I guess it didn't mean that." Which you're like, what are you, 13? I don't understand what's going on.
it was
What?
It was such a weird exchange because
It's
she's
so
like, "Oh, it
weird.
means we're like immortally tied together forever." When a woman comes out of a wet lake and gets dry and then sparks a man.
But the
It's
conditions
like
are like
it's super specific, and then they
in the
both are
moonlight
like,
on the east side of the
okay.
mountain. It's like
and then
Right?
there's no reaction to it. Sort
no,
of.
and then right away they're like, "Should we have a conversation?" But she right away is like, "I've been spying on you guys," and you're like, "What? You just
Huh?
said you're a witch and you're spying. Like we're okay."
Like, what?
Relationships moving fast.
They say about 2 sentences to each other. They almost kiss, and then like she disappears again. What's new? Because I think
Tusk is having a nightmare.
okay, I was
and
like,
he's
someone woke
grunting.
up. Yeah,
Again, it doesn't. Classic movie would be like somebody's coming, so we don't get to kiss. Not Tusk is rolling over in his sleep,
Snoring.
way across the
It's
lake on the
200 yards across the
complete
lake.
other
You can
side.
hear
He
him.
makes one snore, and they're like, "Oh, can't kiss."
Shit.
but
I'll
also
see ya.
like.
What the hell?
Also,
Guy?
is this not the biggest red flag ever that like she just appeared by where you're camping and she's swimming in the water at midnight? Instead, he's like,
that's a
"Hey,
green
you."
light.
I've never seen anything that's more
green
meant to
light
be than that in my life.
Yeah.
What,
Okay,
are you, what are
sorry.
you talking about? Red flag.
I'm sorry.
If it was a dude, it'd be creepy.
And it's okay because it's her. All right, so the next day they're traveling. They're on their way to find Malkin, and they hear bells, which is Gregory is like, "Hey, we got." I guess he's the only one on Earth, so
It's
they.
the bat signal, I guess.
But
yeah.
also, do they hope like he's in range of the bells at all times?
Right,
or-
yeah, I don't know.
Why? And they're
don't-
always so loud. Like, how is he
It's-
always like in range of the bells?
Doesn't make sense. But so this is when they're getting summoned and people are approaching. He goes, "Tusk, get out of here!" Like he can't
Yeah.
be seen, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Geez, sorry, bud, you've been doing all the labor." And then he's like, "Get out of here." Some guys approach him though, and they're saying that they're invited to the walled city because they have like some monster they need help with. Cut to what looks like video game, like in between scenes and clips.
Oh yeah, yep.
Of like
Yep.
castles and mountains, and you're like, this is in a video game. I'm pretty sure. Like the
It's
scenes
very
are
You're talking about the
gamey.
walled city?
everything about it.
There's no farms around the walled city. You
Which
can't have a city that
doesn't
doesn't have
make
any
sense.
farms supporting it. That's all I could think about. It's a desolate landscape
With
and
like
then a huge metropolitan
castle?
area.
That's it.
It's like, where do they get their food? That doesn't
Once you
make any
open your
sense.
mind a little bit.
You gotta have. If you have a big walled city, there's farms outside of it.
Well, they
Where
don't,
does Randall Thor
Oh my God.
herd his sheep?
So they have a beast inside, which is one of Malkin's lieutenants,
Oh,
which is
boy.
in the form of a bear. So he's in a giant cage. Once
boy.
again, they have cages.
They have
unlimited cages around this world.
well, this
This cage
scene. Sorry,
Doesn't
go
make
ahead.
sense. No, go for it
Yeah.
again.
They call him. They've already got the bad guy captured.
Like the bear's in a bear-sized
Right.
cage, and
This
by bear size,
scene-
like 20 foot tall.
Probably takes the cake in terms of stupidity. They have it captured in a cage in a building somewhere very deep. They summon Jeff Bridges from thousands of miles away on a side quest. And
that is what it is in a video game again.
Oh,
it's like side quest. Yeah.
And then he goes back to the I'll let you.
Yeah, but
walk
this
us
is
through
one
it,
of
sorry.
the mini bosses though.
You're
Yeah.
exactly right though. They have it in a cage, and it's a bear-sized cage, so it's not like we don't know what to do. This bear, Ben, this picture number 7. This bear is like 20 feet tall. They have it in a bear-sized cage.
Very
he
bad
walks
CGI.
in. He walks in, and he, like I wrote, okay, he's always way too calm. Like he's like ready to do one secret magic.
Look,
I think this
this
is a
what I'm
video
talking
game.
about, though.
This is not from the movie.
Hold on.
This is like a still image someone drew of a
It
book.
does look like a video game.
This is not.
No, this is from the movie
No,
for
it's
sure.
not. Is it?
Absolutely is. And look. The bear has the fuzzy, the background has the fuzzy, but the spook crystal clear.
I don't believe you. I don't-
Always. Every
That's
It
scene.
is
way
like that
too-
in that.
Every scene, everyone is fuzzy, but the
this
spook.
is what he does. So the bear was in the cage. He stands like this for a
Go
good
rewatch
5
it.
minutes.
Like, absolutely not.
He stands like this until the bear breaks out of the cage and growls in his face and is ready to kill him.
Yeah.
And then he finally like blows shit in its face so it turns into a person. But it's like, why wouldn't you just right away dealt with the issue? It was in a cage.
Yeah,
It was chained up. We were good to go. And he stands there for an hour.
because
like,
then they wouldn't have gotten to reuse the seventh or the Golden Compass's bear.
oh my God. what other movie was that? Used
That was
then?
in the Wolfman.
Oh yeah, it was the circus or the gypsy bear.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
So then they turn him into a person and they start fighting. And immediately when they're
They're, like,
fighting, once
Punching?
again, Gregory fucking sucks at fighting. So I don't
Yeah,
know why you
and,
turned him into a person. Like it wasn't helpful.
See, but this guy's on his. This is a druid, wild shape changer on his level. Like
Oh my
this
God.
guy, he has
High
killed
level,
so many
yeah.
spooks.
well, so
Like,
they're
he's
fighting.
just as much HP.
Thomas tries to help. He's just getting beat up immediately. He clearly hasn't learned a goddamn thing.
No.
So dumb.
They finally get him. He turns like into a bear, then into a person again, and they finally kind of get him back down and tied up. And they pour like oil around him or by him or something. And then he tells Thomas, you have to like light him on fire. That's the only way to kill him. And Thomas can't do it. So he's like, I'm not like you and stuff. And Gregory's like, not yet, bitch. And he lights him on fire
it anyway,
and walks
yeah.
out.
So
yeah.
to recap, Bear was in the cage above the oil trap to set him on fire.
Yeah, why didn't we just do
He
it
was
right
already
away?
there.
He was there.
Gregory lets him out of the cage, changes him into a human, gets beat up by him,
Right.
somehow gets him back in the cage, sets him on fire as originally intended.
Yeah. Like they
It's-
could have done it a while ago. The bear was in.
You
It
did not
doesn't
need
make
to
sense.
summon
Such a-
Gregory.
He should
Also-
have just said light him on fire, and they
Yeah.
would have been good to go.
You know, the one guy's like took 3 regiments to capture him. I'm the only survivor. It's like,
No,
how did you,
Yeah,
as
how
the
does
lone
that add
survivor,
up?
get
Yeah.
him into that cage
That doesn't
and
make
then
any
get him
sense.
here? You tell me.
Dragged it.
it doesn't make sense. But
Anyway.
when they come out, Gregory's like runs away, like boo hoo bitch to Thomas, and Alice
He
is
does.
outside.
He goes. He says, "Go sulk by yourself, or go sulk in a corner," and
he's
then
like,
he just
he's
takes
a little
off.
jerk, and he takes off. But Alice is out there, and of course she's like, "Hey, you!" Like later and stuff. Hey, I
Oh my
heard
God,
you,
what are you
like,
gonna do
didn't
to
want to
me?
kill the witch.
Oh my
yeah.
god! They end up in that like gypsy tent,
Well, yeah. Hold on.
market
okay.
side tent.
So Alice tells Thomas that
Gotta do
Gregory
what you
loved a
gotta do, I
witch
guess.
once.
Yeah.
So this one we're like, whoa, Gregory was in love with the
Whoa.
witch. Hold up.
Wait.
So then Thomas is like, close your eyes, and she does, and he kisses her. Yeah, and then they wake up in a tent, and you're like,
Which
okay.
I'll give him points for no gratuitous because
Yeah, we
this
didn't have
very
to-
easily could have
Yeah.
included a unnecessary sex scene.
I
I
did
was
love
waiting
that.
for that,
I loved
so-
the like close your eyes, kisses her, hard cut
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
there. It's
Tent
clearly
on the
later.
side of the road where they did
Right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like tent on the
they're
side.
they're even like dressed again.
Yeah.
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 I think she's. Yeah, I think
Head-
she is.
head-
A little bit. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know, but Thomas and her are like, we should run away together and all this crap. Then Thomas has a vision about how Malkin's gonna like kill Gregory, and he's like, I gotta go back. And he says he doesn't want to leave her, but he has to go help, so he leaves her.
I'm so glad you take notes.
Too bad, so sad.
I don't remember this nonsense. I mean, I remember it.
It's
but
like
it's
we
all,
get to.
Yeah.
They're just. It's just a bunch of
Just a
side
bunch of
quests
jumble.
put together.
I need to walk through it again to really cement my. I have initial feelings, and then I develop new opinions.
How much you love it?
You've
over
just
the course of the
workshopped
review.
this into a D&D movie.
Yeah. Ben's
over the
taking.
past 24
Do you want my
hours.
notes when I'm
I
done,
have
Ben?
turned
So
this-
you can.
It's going to be so funny when the very first thing that happens in the next D&D campaign is Ken meets the spook.
You'll be like, no.
Yeah.
Close your eyes.
So
Yeah.
what are you gonna
Syl,
do to her?
close your eyes.
Oh,
No.
God.
No.
So Thomas goes back and finds Gregory. Gregory's like drunk. What's new? He says when he was young and stupid once, he loved a witch too. It was Malkin.
Oh my gosh.
She wasn't Mother Melkin then, though.
So he's like, she wasn't always evil. This is when it kind of like skipped around, which doesn't make sense. So he's like, I was in love. She wasn't always evil. But then she flipped out when I got married. And I'm like, so you clearly
wait,
broke
what?
up. Like,
Yeah.
why? Like,
no,
suddenly-
he like skips over the part where
Like,
he
they
never
weren't
says
together?
we broke up and then I got married later.
So he's like, when I got married, she like flipped out and murdered my wife. And then that's why I forever hate witches. But you're like, okay, but
Timeline wise.
when you were,
Yeah.
how long we talking? Did you cheat on her? Like, I don't know what happened in there. What's
Were you
going
married
on?
while you dated her? I don't understand. Yeah.
okay,
She was pissed I was married. Like, that's what it sounds like almost. You're like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, if we really want to like get on what's bad about this movie too, like there's a whole we have now we're transitioning into we're like another story because what's happened
that
up
is
until
true.
now is like showing that the spook is overly aggressive and like maniacal in his assault against witches, and then like no, Gregory meets a witch who's like she's like a half witch and she's nice.
no,
And like
Thomas.
or Thomas, yeah,
Okay.
Mr. Ward. And so, like, maybe the spook's a bad guy. Maybe he's great. And, like,
That's
I'm
true.
not going to burn this lieutenant. Like, we're good. We're not crazy. The spook and Mother Malkin are crazy, and they're going to ruin the world, and we're good. And that, like, climaxed in that, I'm not going to burn this guy. Well, guess what? That's the last time anybody tries to be good, because
From here on out,
we'll
it's like,
find out at the end of the movie. He has no hesitation,
Yeah.
just burning everybody. There's not anybody left after he gets on the
that
scene.
is true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
you're
never
right.
like it's never you never get that moment of like,
Sure.
oh, I see why this needs to be done.
get
It's just
it.
like, nah,
Yeah.
time to burn them.
That is true.
Let's burn them up.
Light it up,
Whatever
baby.
happened to the storyline of like how this
Guy with a conscience, right?
This
Like,
is the
Yeah.
old way. The old way is good versus evil, and the new way is shades of gray and empathy.
Yeah.
And that
No.
is only in that part of the movie's gone. We're past that now.
Well, he
That's
gets.
not
I
the
mean-
Dungeon Master gave up on that storyline because it was
I'll
too
tell
complicated.
You, well, I'll tell you when that
couldn't
happened.
figure out
though,
an
but
ending.
We'll get
That's
to
why
it.
he gave up.
Yeah, he's probably like, geez. So they're back on the
Let's
road
just let
again.
them fight each other. I don't care.
Right.
That is
I don't
pretty
know.
much what it
Throw a
is.
bunch of witches at him.
They're all there. You're all there.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
you
you get
find
to-
yourself in a dungeon with 9, level 6 witches.
What
go.
do you do? Yeah. They're back on the road again, and all of a sudden Tusk starts like Tusk, first of all, doesn't get to ride on the wagon. He has to like walk with the horses, which is
He
like
really gets the short
fucking
end of
A.
the stick, yeah.
He starts like freaking out and
As
warning them.
ugly as you are, persistent.
And
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like he gets
So
increasingly
mean.
insulting. Like, Tusk, you're a dumb idiot, and I really don't like your presence.
yeah.
But boy, you're reliable.
Yeah. I love that
Yeah,
about you.
he's always like, "You really are
Tusk-
hard to kill, you son of a bitch!"
Yeah.
Like,
Eat shit, Tusk. But at
You're as
least
hard-
you know how to cook.
Right? You're as hard to kill as you are ugly, you know? Like, gosh,
Jesus
you look like shit, but
Christ.
man, you're always there.
jerk. Like, man. So Tusk is warning them, and all of a sudden, from under the ground comes like this giant monster.
Again, side quest number 2.
This is another side quest, which you were like, we just got back on the road. Like,
yeah. And this is like, what's it called? It's a quick time event. This is video game quick time event where like the troll grabs you. You have to hit square.
And it's like hit
time.
square.
Yeah, and if you don't, you die. But if you get it, it keeps going. And then triangle
to dodge. Like,
I'm pretty sure
just in the river. This goes on forever.
This does go on.
I thought Tusk got killed.
Well, okay. This monster,
him so hard.
Yeah. So this monster's like, it's like the troll in Lord of the Rings. Like, it's a big troll monster thing. And of course, Gregory's like, well, they can't see it all, but it chases them the whole way and all this shit. You find out it can smell them. So it's like, shut up.
Oh, they
Gregory.
hate water. It jumps in the water.
Well, the
again,
monster,
right? It's
this is a lot of like jokes in this part too.
God, shut up. The monster is chasing them. He's smashing everything. He races down the hill, and this is when Tusk stops and yells, and you think like, oh, maybe he can like just stop it or something.
Scare him off or something.
And it hits him into a rock like he is a fucking fly. Like boom,
pancake.
like ragdoll, done.
Yeah.
They get to the edge of a cliff, and by cliff I mean like 500 feet high. Like they are so fucking high.
You
on
die
that
if
thing.
you hit the water.
You would
think.
Like a raft is the size of a quarter down there, and they're like, well, look at that. They end up jumping, so they jump down into it, and then when they get up, they're like, they hate water. No big deal. Well, it fucking jumps into the water. What's new? Onto the raft.
Why was there a hobbit fishing down?
There's a guy immediately below where they just
He's
happen
like,
to
whoa! He's like on his raft and
on a raft. He's not even on a boat.
It doesn't make sense. So
it's a raft.
The creature grabs Gregory. They're underwater. Gregory stabs in the hand. All this shit happens, and then Thomas and the monster go over a fucking waterfall.
Yeah,
this takes forever
There's a long time,
like 2.5 minutes of them falling down waterfalls
and underwater.
I love
that
that the spook is up on the rock. He's saved himself, and he's like, Mr. Ward, and he just kind of points.
Yeah,
and then and then they go over the waterfall, not like he's not even like that.
Do you want to fucking help me or
Mr. Ward?
He's always drunk, so it's like
this went on so long that I definitely stopped watching to work for a bit, and then I came back once like the volume died down because I knew the scene had ended.
Well, when Thomas gets out of the water, the sister witch is there, and she approaches him, and she's like,
she's just there again.
She's there, and she's like, let's stab out your heart and I don't know, kill you or whatever the heck.
Fry it up or whatever.
She has a sword by him, and he grabs the sword with his hands, and the sword is next to the necklace or something.
Oh,
which
that's right.
lights it. I don't know if it gets hot or whatever, but it
the tip of the blade touched the stone and went pshoo, and she's
she shoots back. He grabs the sword, and she's like, the stone,
right?
And she flies away. Yeah, and so she flies away. So then Thomas has to climb back up the waterfall, and Gregory's like having a drink by a fire. He's just waiting for him, which is like, okay, once again, this took way too long for a side quest or whatever.
Yeah.
So he shows Gregory the necklace. He's like, yeah, my mom had it. What's up? And he's like, well, a witch took that from her years ago. And then he laughs about it because he's like, you're a spook and a witch's son. And you're like, okay,
this
Gregory.
Was so weird because, was it supposed to be a revelation?
I don't know. Because is that...
Gregory didn't seem to really care that he was half witch. At all.
Right, even though he hates witches.
He hates
the other girl, Alice, she's only a half witch. Why has he got such a problem with her?
Probably because she's popping up at
he doesn't
midnight,
care that Mr. Ward is the seventh son of a seventh witch?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. So Malkin is talking to Alice, and she's pretty much like, you got to give me that necklace. And she's like, if you give me the necklace, I won't hurt Thomas. We'll be good. And while we're at it,
how she's like, well, how can I trust you? And then she's just like, Give me the necklace.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's a red flag right there. Like, you can't.
All right, never mind.
Yeah, sorry I asked.
Guess I shouldn't have asked.
So yeah, if you give me the necklace, I won't hurt Thomas. Just get me that shit. And while you're at it, I'm going to like send some of my peeps out into the villages just to kind of like show what we got going on.
Yeah, we're going to show them like
We're just going to show people
how
okay?
serious we are.
So this is when all the evil witches, creatures, shit burst into villages and just start murdering everyone. This is picture number 8.
Good stuff.
Yeah, well, this is when they're like, "Where's Bear Man?" And then they're like,
well, she was
the
like, we have,
spook killed
which is
him."
so stupid though. She's like, 1, 2, 3, we have everyone here except for Bear Man or whatever his name is. And the way she says it, she's like, where could he be? And someone's like, I think he got murdered. And she was like, it's so dumb. No, the way, I don't know. Okay.
It is like that.
It is. Yeah.
So they go into the villages. They are
I
destroying.
think he's dead.
I think somebody says that. I think he's dead.
And she's like looking at her watch, waiting for
Yeah,
him.
she's like, okay, well, I guess we'll go without him.
Right. So she like whips up the like
Yeah, she does the soup,
smoke.
and everybody else turns into soup, and then they all fly away.
Why does when she stir the soup, everybody turns into soup? That's the only way they can fly there,
I get maybe that's
I
her
don't know.
real power is the soup spin.
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, can they not fly like
Maybe
like
they don't know how to
smoke
turn
fly?
into soup if
Like what?
she doesn't do it.
How come it's like what are her powers? How come sometimes she can just be like, "Oh, this place needs some fixing up," and she's just like,
Yeah, she
And it's
transforms
like
the
Powers is
entire
perfect
like
looking.
Reno,
castle.
and that's it.
"I don't know, that's a cool power."
Well,
I
that'd
just
be
do
great.
whatever I want.
I want
When the whole
that,
house
yeah.
looks
Let's
good.
soup.
Yeah.
We're gonna soup. Everybody
We're
soup,
gonna Everybody get in here.
so we
We're
can
gonna soup.
apparate. Don't say Diagonelli.
Yeah.
So, okay, the picture number 8, Ben. The
Oh,
evil shit
you know
is
what-
going into villages. And
You joke about Harry Potter, but the soup like CGI is definitely unused clips from Harry Potter.
yeah,
of
it's like the,
the
smoke.
Death
Like,
Eaters. It's the identical
Yeah.
effect.
They're just
But,
like,
buying
worse,
CG from
a
other
little bit.
Yeah,
movies.
they're just
Yeah.
buying little bits and pieces of
See,
other.
I feel like this picture actually makes it look way better than it was. But
Yeah,
here's
it's
one
a
of the
very-
monsters.
It's a very boring.
I
attack
didn't
scene.
realize that the dragon monster was the dude. Because
Yeah.
his horse turns into it, and so
He and his horse turn into
Oh,
it.
really?
yeah, I didn't
Oh,
realize
okay.
that his horse was a facade.
Yeah,
and he's
I don't know.
actually he
just
could
kind
like
of a cool thing.
yeah, like
I was
he,
okay with that.
like him on a horse is like
He gets more dragon because he
like-
literally has more
Yeah.
mass.
is he
attached to
the
him.
he's like
He
the
probably
horse
is the
almost
horse
or like
all of it?
too.
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like the whole thing. I think I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
while they're there, apparently Thomas's mother is like in town. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
I didn't understand this.
I don't-
at
Remember
all.
how far he had to paddle
They
out
were, like,
into the middle
in
of
the woods.
nowhere to find
Yeah.
Thomas
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
his mom?
she's like the witch protecting this town.
No, she's in
apparently.
a city. In a city that it went the walled city, which they've shown several times, has nothing around it. Remember,
And
keep that in mind.
She's like in town that day. But so everyone's running away and she's like, no. And she turns back to go fight. Now, the way she uses her witch powers is she picks up a pitchfork with witch
Telekinetically.
powers. Yeah. And stabs a monster and then like
No, she
kills
just
it.
picks it up with her hands. Doesn't
No,
she?
No,
she
she
uses
floats it up.
she floats it up.
Okay.
But once again, you could pick it up with your hand. So you don't need to be a witch to kill a monster in this way. You just need to literally pick up a pitchfork. I don't
Yeah.
Why is that all she did? She immediately they're like a witch defends the city and the Malkin and the sister go and kill her immediately. She kills one person. That's
She
it.
levitates that pitchfork in front of one of the big bad 9 witches, and he just like growls
Stands
at
there.
her for a while.
Yeah, he like smiles at her and growls and,
And
then
like
gets
he
stabbed.
does like a lick lip or a
Yeah.
lip lick or something like weird, and then she just like yeets it into
Once
him.
again, you don't
he
need to be
dies.
a witch. Like,
Like,
any,
there's
just pick up a
no-
weapon
Right.
and just stab.
and of course, it was the only one of the witch
How many do we
lieutenants that
have?
I didn't remember what his
Right.
thing
Right.
was.
He was like a
I
half
remembered all
gecko,
the other
half
ones,
person.
you know,
I
It's
don't
like a
there's like-
snake.
Yeah.
The assassin guy. There's like the
There's
Mr.
the
Forearms. There's
arms.
Goro.
Yeah.
You know, there's
No, he was
Yeah,
like a
what are they?
lizard or
God,
something.
They're all very forgettable, but they're also like vaguely regional
There's
based.
the Jaguar woman. Did you say?
Yeah.
Her?
I did think that the scene.
Yeah, they are very regional. Like I'm
It's like,
from
okay,
India,
here's the
and you're
South
like,
American
okay.
guy. There's the Indian one. There's the it is. It's
Which
very
I was like,
on the
come
nose.
on. There's not
Yeah.
one per country here. Like I don't. Okay.
But the four-armed guy, the master of swords or whatever, him fighting normal people, I thought that scene was actually kind of cool.
It looked good.
That
The
looked
forearm
good.
Pretty
effect
good.
looked fine.
It-
He was
yeah.
a caricature of an Indian god.
Yeah,
I didn't care for his character model.
very extreme. Yes.
I didn't like his skin.
Well,
as in a
It was
video
so-
game skin.
It was so
Yeah.
on the nose that they probably like looked up an Indian god and just said, "Do that."
Him. Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Not
Yeah.
even like add a little something to like
Don't
just
change it.
straight up.
Do the Google picture.
Yeah.
Right?
But
This is
the four-armed fighting was the best
Yeah.
like effects I saw in the
Yeah.
movie. It
Yeah.
looked good. Like that
Yeah.
whole scene was like, oh, this is what it would be like to fight a four-armed swords
That was
master.
good,
He's like
but-
tearing
Yeah.
people up. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And that dragon running around that sea, like busting through walls and stuff. Like this whole scene up until the levitating pitchfork, where the bad guys are being bad guys, was actually pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah.
That was fine, yeah. But I mean, for how much they destroyed the city later, it's like, give me 2 minutes and they're done. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. So this is when Gregory is drunk as usual. He gives Thomas something to drink, and then he's like, "You must never have more than one sip a day." And he's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because it's mine." And you're like, oh, "Gregory, you son of a bitch!"
You
Congress
goofball. Because it's
Oh
mine.
my gosh. So Tusk is back. He's warning them again about shit. So Gregory
Tusk
goes.
didn't die.
No,
Yeah.
he never dies.
He insults him again, though. This is where it's like,
yeah.
you're as ugly as you are resilient or unkillable or
Right.
eat
And you're
shit,
like,
loser.
give-
Glad to have you back. You know?
Tusk a goddamn break. So Gregory goes to look ahead, and look who pops up? Alice.
Homegirl. Yeah.
Okay, so Alice is like, let's run away, blah, blah, blah. And that's when she's like, do you love me? And he's like, yes. No. You guys have
he's in
talked
love.
for maybe
Yeah.
one paragraph
Yeah,
at
they've
the
had
most.
3 very horny conversations. He's in love.
God. So Gregory catches her, like literally
in
with like
love.
a rope and stones kind of thing. Like, first of
Yeah.
all, she runs in front of the one tree on the mountaintop. And she's like, whoa! And she gets like caught around it, which you're like, why did you back up into that? But
And then he's making jokes about
he
like,
right away
oh,
is
we're
like-
gonna have a fire.
yeah, instantly. Imagine, your son brings home a girlfriend, and you're like, let's start a fire.
Let's
like,
burn her.
immediately.
Yeah.
So Thomas cuts her free, and Gregory is like, you fucking dumbass, she took your stone. And so Thomas goes after her. And this is when he goes in the woods and gets attacked by the assassins. These are the world's best assassins, again. I'm going to remind you.
Yeah.
They are like, if you put a mask on me and sent me in the woods and I was like tripping over trees and shit. Like, they are the goofiest, stupidest, so dumb. And Tusk is just like throwing them over his shoulder, like into trees. They are like fumbling and bouncing into shit. They are the worst things you've ever seen. Once again, they get to a cliffside.
Do you see when they pick up the log on their shoulder
Yeah.
and they're
Oh,
like,
so dumb.
Running?
they're like,
Yeah.
You're assassins. Why?
they're like,
You know what
assassins.
they are? They are worse than like stormtroopers. Like they are
Oh,
goofier.
way worse. Way
Like
worse.
and this is what they brought to a witch, and they were like the world's best 100 assassins that we could.
Yeah.
And they're fumbling and bumbling out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Thomas and what's his name? Friar Tuck. What's his name?
Tusk?
Yes, thank you.
Tusk?
Friar Tusk?
Get this. Here are the 4 frequently asked. There are 4 frequently asked questions for
About
Seventh
this
Son on
movie?
IMDb.
What are they?
Is Seventh
What's
Son
wrong with Jeff
based on a
Bridges?
book?
Yeah.
Is it based on a
okay.
book? Okay.
What is special about being Seventh Son?
Nobody knows.
Nothing.
What race is Tusk?
Nobody knows.
Why did the boggart jump into the river, though Master Gregory said, quote, boggarts hate water? Those are the only 4.
That's it. That's all people want to know. That's pretty good. I would
That
ask
covers
all
about
those.
all of it,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Thomas and Tusk fall off a cliff into like clouds. They're that high. Like they're done so. Gregory gets captured by the assassins, which once again, I don't know how, and taken away.
He's like falling through trees too,
So-
but then later he's like on a cliff
Thomas is on a
edge.
cliffside, which makes no sense. Next to the staff, he wakes up and he has a vision, and it's his dead mom's ghost. And she is essentially the one to be
Yeah.
like, you should just go murder everyone, blah, blah, blah. And so he's like,
He
I
says,
should.
"Yeah,
All
Mom."
right, so much for
He
that.
stands up. Tusk,
They're done.
during this whole time, he's been talking to his dead mom's ghost. During this entire time, Tusk is like on the side hanging by one hand, right under him. He has not said a word. He has not said, could you help me out? Like nothing. And he stands up and he says something like, he's like, you really don't die easy, do you? And it's like, fucking help
Man,
me
Tusk,
Yeah.
you son of a
You
bitch.
say thank you. Yeah.
Gosh.
God, you're ugly.
Man, if I never had to see that ugly mug again, but there's just no getting rid of you.
Yeah.
That's what I
You're
said.
God
one
bless, yeah.
tough mutt.
Yeah.
So Gregory, so this is like we're finally at the final battle scene.
Oh my God.
Gregory is at the witch castle. He's getting his ass kicked. Like he is totally getting his ass kicked. Alice is finding out that they think Thomas is dead and she's pissed. Obviously, Malkin didn't keep her secret little thing that she said. Okay, so they are bringing Gregory to Malkin. She's given some speech. And this is when she is like tricking him to fall in love with her again and rule with her. And you're like, hold up. Did we do all this because she still likes him? Like,
Yeah.
is that what that's what the whole
I don't
plot
yeah.
think
is?
so. She just wanted to get rid of him.
I-
I think it was a trick.
Mm,
Maybe
Well,
you're right. I don't
because
know.
if you remember, when we hear about the stone, it says that it makes her illusions seem more real.
Yes. So she's wearing the necklace.
And now she has the necklace. And
Yeah.
so her
Oh.
being like, Gregory.
Yeah. So when he's like about to like kiss her
He's
and
like,
shit,
what's up?
Alice
some of
slips
that.
in and takes the necklace and runs away. He
Which,
comes out of
like,
his trance.
There's 40 ultimate powered witches
And she's like,
watching
"Whoop."
Julianne
Yeah.
Moore seduce Jeff Bridges. And
didn't
Alice
mind.
just, I'm going to grab that real
Let
quick.
me just take that
and
from
runs
you.
away. He comes out of his trance and he's like, blah, in her face. It's also like,
Whoa!
okay.
Ah!
And she throws him up and he hits a
Oh,
stone
again,
100 yards away.
pancake.
Dead.
Yeah.
You'd be dead.
I know Tusk can take a hit like that, but I don't think
Gregory
I don't
can't.
know. I don't think
No.
the spook
Yeah.
can.
So then,
The spook.
because Malkin is going after Alice with the necklace. The sister witch is like, don't hurt her. So they are both dragons and fighting in the air.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 dragon fights in the air. That's happening this whole time. There's a lot going
I
on.
hated that.
That was
I
stupid.
hated that. Like she was devoted to Mother Malkin this whole
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
to the point that like
Yeah.
She would have
her-
sold her daughter out.
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
the slightest hint of her daughter being threatened by Mother Malkin,
She's like,
and now
"Done."
she's gonna actually be the person who takes her out.
Yeah.
That's
Nope.
not the good guys. Don't even. The only way to win is to. This is so lame.
It's stupid. So
Yeah.
It's super lame.
Gregory gets up somehow and he has to fight is picture number 9. The guy who turns into the big monster dinosaur thing. Yeah. Look at once again, he always stands with confidence.
Shot.
First of all, one of them
What
looks like
an
a puppet
insane
on a hand.
picture.
Like if you just
Like,
He looks like the hunter guy from Jumanji when he's getting sucked
When he's
into
getting-
the board.
yes.
oh my gosh. But he always stands there like he's gonna do a cool move,
That-
and then he just
And then
gets
he
like
just
knocked
gets
down.
like, gets his ass whooped.
yeah,
Yeah.
look at
He's going, getting sucked in to
how
Jumanji.
cool he is. So he's fighting this guy, and he's like, "You should turn into a man and fight like a man," and
This
he
made
does.
no sense.
And
I
they
don't-
fight,
And then
like,
he kills him, and then he says, "You should have stayed a dragon." And it was like, I
fuck?
don't under you really
But-
mixed
I
messages
don't-
here.
He's like cowering in fear and
He's-
hiding
he's
behind stuff. He's
getting
like
destroyed.
losing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then I don't even know what he did actually. Like in
I know,
1
he
second, all of a
somehow
sudden the other guy's dead.
he got the guy down and like just
I'm not
He
exactly.
said,
slapped
"Fight me
a
like a man."
weapon
the guy,
into him.
The guy drops his weapons. He grabs the weapon and stabs the guy.
Yeah,
with it.
and
But
it's like
no,
done.
there is a couple of scenes between fight me like a man,
yeah.
and then he's like
He uses the
he's
weapon
using them,
that-
and Jeff Bridges is hiding and scared, and then all of a
don't
sudden
know.
he's dead.
He got one
And
good
I
hit
was like,
on him.
I don't understand. Like he just did one swing and he died. Like
I don't know.
Yeah.
So while they're fighting and the two dragons are fighting, Thomas like finds Alice and stuff, and then Alice is like killing assassins. Once again, she was never trained. I don't know how she's killing assassins.
It doesn't matter.
Thomas saves her.
Yeah, why can she kill assassins?
I don't know.
They're supposed to be like the best assassins.
So while this is happening, this is when Thomas, the staff is like a flamethrower, and he's just flaming people up left and right. He is like
every witch it touches, they
he
just
light up instantly.
They're done.
And it's instant. It is like there's a jaguar on him, and he's like, whoosh, and it's done. Like everyone's done within 5 minutes. The two dragon sisters are fighting in the air. Finally, Malkin kills her sister witch. The body burns up. She's gone too. All the other witches and creatures are dead, and Malkin just like walks into her castle all sad.
But not before.
I
Not
didn't
before
understand
the
that.
sister witch also pushed Malkin's own tail through her neck.
Yeah. So she's like
She
injured
swung
and
it
hurt.
at her and she like and then shoved
Like
it and
jammed it.
it through. That's when they
Yes.
both crashed down. The sister's dead.
Sister's dead.
And Mother Malkin is like essentially mortally wounded. She has been defeated by the other
But
witch.
like there's no one else around because she just walks in the castle, closes the door,
And
like
she lays
"Bye,
down like
bitch."
on a bed. Yeah.
Right.
And Gregory's like, I'll do this alone or whatever. And he walks in. So he goes up to her and he's ready to like stab her, but he like can't do it. She picks him up and she's about to kill him then. And then she gets stabbed with a knife that Thomas threw.
Tommy
and
throws
it
one.
Kills her.
Finally remember
gets her.
the first time we saw Tom, he missed the deer.
Can't throw a knife. Yeah.
And
Can't
now
throw a knife.
we see him at the end.
He can throw
The
that
circle
knife.
is complete.
And so
He hits his target.
Story of
The
how to
best
learn
is,
to
though-
throw a knife.
Greg. You
Greg.
just called him.
Greg.
Greg walks away, and Thomas is like, "Okay, ready to cook a witch." She's like, "Whoo," and he just gets
Oh
started.
yeah, he just like
Immediately.
roasts her.
Not like, "Hey, you were in love with her. This has been a battle for 100. Like, hey, are we good to go?" Or like, what's? And he's like, "Whoo,"
What's
and he just
particularly
starts.
funny about this scene in
it's
particular,
POV of him burning the audience.
right? And when he was fighting the lieutenant witches, it was like magic kind of fire on the end of the staff, like clearly
Real fire here.
here it looks like somebody
Yeah.
like piped gas
Yeah.
through a
Oh,
staff,
yeah.
Oh,
and
they
it's
did.
like just like flames.
It's a
Torch.
flamethrower. He
It's
just
just
had
like
the-
a little
yeah.
torch thing, you know? It's like so
Yeah.
stupid
So
looking.
weird. So then we cut to Gregory is giving Thomas the mark of the night and all that crap. Alice pops up when Thomas is like packing
Again.
as if he has to like go on his night's journey. And she pops up and she's like, "Yo, we gonna be in love and all this crap." They kiss. And then essentially he's like, "I'm a spook man. Like,
Yeah.
I can't
like,
do this.
I can't be kissing witches.
This
Which
doesn't
is-
make
Get away
any
from me.
Also,
sense.
like, you were the opposite the entire movie.
Yeah.
And now you're like, hey, a little too fast for me.
And then they try to give it a little switch where he doesn't go on a journey. Jeff
Oh, no.
Bridges just bolts. And
Yes.
the guy is left there anyway, having just like dumped his girlfriend.
Yeah,
who-
he dumped his girlfriend because he didn't
was
want a long
totally
distance
committed.
relationship.
Because
And
no, I
he's-
gotta go. Like
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Right,
And then
I'm
he
leaving.
doesn't leave.
No, he packs up his horse with his shit, and Gregory's like, "You're not leaving. I'm
Greg
leaving,
takes
bitch."
it.
And he
Yeah.
takes it and goes. And
I'm
he's
done, man.
And then it's Thomas and Tusk, and they hear those bells ring, and they say, "Let's get to work."
Let's get to work, man.
Puts on his
He,
hood,
like,
and they get
he
going.
puts on
You know
his
why
hood.
they're ringing the bells? Because they just saw a witch,
They're
Yeah.
probably like,
right? He's like,
"She's
"Oh, I guess
fucking
I'll give you a
pissed."
head start, but
Also,
you better
guess
get
what?
on out
You
of here."
just dumped her. You just created an evil witch.
Right.
You
It's
dumb
the
bitch.
same
Malkin
scenario.
2.0. She's gonna kill your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch out. Like
The end.
this is probably exactly what happened to the spook.
Yeah, he probably
Yeah.
said, I can't date a
The
witch. I'm a
cycle,
spook.
the cycle
The
continues.
cycle continues over
That's
and
it.
over again.
Yeah.
All right, this
This
movie.
the ending was so dumb. The whole like no, I can't be with you because I have to go, but also,
But-
no, you don't get to go. I'm
Al-
gonna go. And so
Also, like,
he's just left standing by the river with Tusk.
it didn't. But also the last battle, the whole movie is like showing all the lieutenants. They're talking about the monsters. This person can do this. All
They
these
just get
crazy things.
roasted.
The last battle is probably 5 minutes max.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
kill all of them instantly. That
Yep.
includes all the assassins, all the lieutenants,
The
everyone.
assassins were
It's so
so
they were not.
unnecessary that I forgot they were in it. To
It
be
was so
honest.
dumb.
I
It's
forgot
'cause
they
they
were the
didn't-
like ultimate assassins because they just die.
They were so bad. They were so bad.
They were
So-
like the foot soldiers in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
yeah,
Yeah, they were
sure.
horrible.
Weird reference, but yeah.
Or like the putty guys in Power
There-
They
Rangers.
were-
okay, sure.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say they were like shitty orcs. They weren't even as good as orcs. They were like horrible.
No.
They were so bad.
It just like I don't know, like it just didn't make any. None of it ever made any sense, and
Yeah.
the ending has just made
No.
even less sense.
Especially
even
considering
that-
he said he loved that witch and shit. Like he was like, "I love you, Alice," and did all this crap for her, and then he was like, "Dude,
Yeah,
I need
but-
some
but
space
even
here.
the whole,
I'm
I'm a
spook."
career
And-
man.
like the
working
whole
on my
like he's clearly like untrained, doesn't know his powers or whatever yet. The
Does he have
spook's only
powers?
one guy, no matter how strong he is, and like they're no match for the like cadre of the witches. They
Yeah.
have to somehow take them out one at a time. That's their only chance, or they have to gather a band of forces that are going to help them. But instead, just the two of them with a bunch of like interfighting between the bad guys is enough to like take down these like
all it takes.
That's all it takes.
ancient powerful
just
beings.
had
Like
to-
it's just stupid.
He just had to look inside himself.
Yeah,
Once again,
sure.
So he could have the
Mom, what?
flamethrower staff?
yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess.
I don't. How did he even get there?
I don't,
don't
know. This
know.
movie was dumb and bad and just a collection of ideas
say go
smashed
watch it.
together.
Just to hear Jeff Bridges' weird
Yeah,
ass
and then
accent.
you can turn it off. I don't know. It was like the story was bad. The execution
By the
was
way,
bad.
I do believe it's on Netflix.
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
Is it? We could have
Yeah.
watched it on Netflix.
Well,
Yeah.
you didn't look, so
I did look. I guess the search on the Samsung doesn't search Netflix.
oh yeah, you can't do
Interesting.
that.
Who knew? It only
Yeah,
searches
it is
everything
on Netflix
else.
though. So if you have Netflix, just go listen to his voice at least. Watch
Heck, yeah.
watch Jon Snow die, and then you can turn it off.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was fun though. It was
I
fun in
enjoyed
a
it.
weird
I
way.
enjoy
I
spook
guess,
references
sure.
now.
Yeah.
It was
It's always
until the
nice to
end.
Get some jokes. The ending was really dumb.
Yeah, the
Like,
ending was
really
horrible.
dumb.
Yeah.
It's just like the whole time I was watching the movie, I was like, "Where is this gonna go? And what's gonna happen?" And then
nowhere.
they're just
Go
like, "And
anywhere.
we're gonna, they just burn them all, and it's over."
Done.
You're like, "What?"
And
Oh, and the
also,
two-
he's
the
a
two-
he's a hero now, and Jeff Bridges
what?
is out of the picture.
Well, yeah, and he's like, "Well,"
What?
and Jeff Bridges is like, "I'm not strong enough to fight Malkin, especially if she has the stone. Like, I don't know what we're gonna do." And then it's just
They go
he
do
doesn't.
it anyway.
Turns out he didn't have to do anything. The witches
Yeah.
killed each other. They didn't even have
you
to be
literally
there.
don't have. Yeah, that is true. Like
They just killed each other.
they fought over the dumbest
All
thing
right,
ever.
great.
Like it doesn't.
Lame.
I don't know. It didn't
And
make
that's
any
it.
sense.
Yep.
But yeah,
Not bad.
that's it. Well, I don't know what we're doing next month. We'll see. We'll have to update when that comes. But
We need, like,
thanks
a-
for listening.
What would be like a summer?
Oh man, I don't even know. Well,
What's that,
I gave
gonna
some
say
other
s-
options.
I was gonna say summer, like big summer comedy, but I don't want to watch a bad comedy.
Bad comedy is real
What about-
bad.
That's
Uh,
painful.
What
Yeah.
is the they're like lifeguards at the beach and it had the rock and it had
Oh, it's Baywatch, right?
Yeah,
Baywatch.
Baywatch.
yeah, is that any good?
But
I
I
have
feel
no
like
idea.
it's not. Yeah, I don't know. But it's not.
That could be bad.
I'm sure
I mean,
it's
I
bad.
guess. I'm sure.
There we go.
But is it like funny bad?
I'm not sure. We'll find out.
Oh no!
I bet it.
Next
I bet
time.
it has a lot of bad jokes in it. To be
Yeah, but
honest,
see, I
bet
feel like
it
they
tries
know
to
that
be
they're
funny.
making fun of
Maybe
themselves.
it depends on how you watch it. Yeah. Huh.
I wonder if they know, like, hey, this is new Baywatch, so they kind of make fun of those scenes and stuff.
Probably.
I don't know. Well, we'll have to watch now and find out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should probably wrap it up there. So thanks for tuning in. If you are listening to this on audio, you can always turn in live on the first Wednesday of every month at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we stream to Twitch and YouTube. Otherwise, go check us out on YouTube or find the podcast stream. If you're already listening to this. If you would like to watch some other live shows, we live stream session 0. That'll be next week, the second Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
8 p.m. We start an hour earlier. And we always have a special guest. This month's guest is going to be Mick. So he's going to be talking about his long history of being a game master, I believe. We'll see.
Cool.
I don't know what the topic is. And as always, check out Date Night Thrice, the podcast where we talk about our top 3 whatever and have a blast and have fun, and it's a good excuse to hang out.
Sounds good.
So until next time, we will see you all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.